So I work for the City of Dayton. Zach works for the City of Dayton. I call Zach a lot when I'm having issues with ArcMap or GIS in general, and he's always so helpful. He's been with the city for 3 years as a GIS Analyst II. He has a rescue dog named Beastman. Excellent name. And he's about to show you something he came up with that's helpful for us mappers. But go ahead, Zach. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hopefully everyone can hear me and I'm not throwing off more feedback than Hendrix at the Monterey Pop Festival. So I'm just going to kind of leave the presentation like this because I'm going to jump in and out of it. This is a short one. I'll make it pretty brief. We'll go through the slides, and then if there's enough time at the end, I'll do the dreaded hands-on presentation. So this title is kind of unnecessarily long. Basically what we're looking at, you have stuff that's published out in the form of a feature class or a table to a REST service, and you want to know, okay, where does this now live? Maybe you are more diligent than myself and you keep good inventory on these things, or maybe you have many people within your organization that are publishing, and you need to figure out where certain things are located based on like their feature data set name or their feature class name or their table name. The reason we did this, and I'm going to preface this by saying this code is really just kind of cobbled together. It's nothing too fancy. I will make the code available via GitHub repository. I'll drop the link in the chat here, and it'll also be in the slides. Basically, take it, make it your own. There's more than one way of doing these things. This is just sort of the quick and easiest way that I came up with doing it when I needed to do it for a project. So I couldn't find anything out of the box necessarily that would give me these answers, so I went with the Pythonic approach. The reason we did it with my organization is we're doing the utility network migration. If any of you are familiar with that or have worked through it, it changes the schema of your tables. So kind of just to show, you have your water network, and if you want to know, okay, water lateral line this is from the local government model, W lateral line, where does this thing now live in its published form? Because in the utility network, it's going to be under this water line feature class, and it's going to be assigned a group coded value of 2, which is a service, an asset type coded value of 0, which is unknown. You could code anything in there that you wanted, really. You could call it lateral line, but it's essentially a service. And also within the lateral line are going to be other items like your mains, your raw and potable mains. So what we needed to figure out is, where does all this stuff live in the published forum? So if you are familiar with the application server or the ArcGIS server that's on your portal or your ArcGIS online site, there's a few locations you can find this stuff. Just pull ours up here so you can go into Server Administrator. It's going to be the stuff that's in these folders. Server Managers, basically same principle, stuff that's going to be within these folders here. Or if you have a server connection in catalog, it would be, again, the folders and then the stuff that's in the root of the directory. So what I've opted to look at is feature services, map services. I didn't do image services or stream service. I've not included the stream service option in the code. I don't know if you can or not. You may be able to. Again, this was something that was done pretty quickly, and I thought it might be useful to help some other folks out. So there's going to be actually three scripts. And if there's time at the end, I can show you how ideally you could combine the two into one. But those scripts will be available on GitHub. There's two separate options, one for services that were published using an MXD and others that were published using ArcGIS Pro. So one point to kind of stress with this would be when you publish your services using one of these pieces of software, make sure and save it somewhere. It'll help you out later, kind of later in life. It'll also help to return some of this information that we're about to see. So for these two, the server services, the functionality of the scripts is pretty much the same. There's a few differences between the syntaxes. One uses Python 3 and one uses Python 2.7. Python 3 accommodates Pro, and 2.7 is some of the stuff that was for desktop. There's a few things you'll need to use these scripts. And again, you can copy these down from GitHub, make them your own. You don't have to use the structure that I've done. I put variables in where you could hard code your username and password. There's ways where you can mask your password where you wouldn't have to hard code that in there. Again, it's just kind of a quick and dirty way of doing it. I figure most people who have a basic familiarity with Python know how to modify variables. So kind of keeping it simple in that regard. You'll also need to know your server name. So this is the full computer name. And to find that, you would just go to Control Panel, System, and System Security, and it's going to be this device name. The other piece you'll need, you can create a token. Ideally, you would do this using your server administrator account or one of the accounts that has admin privileges. There is a get token function. I found it at one point. I was looking at something different. I was looking at server stats. I couldn't get this function to work. I didn't bother troubleshooting it. I just hard coded it in. Again, it was kind of a quick and dirty approach to getting these results. And then there's a search string variable, which will be essentially, you can throw in a name of a feature class or feature data set. If we have some time at the end, I can show you how to modify this to include more than one parameter and argument, so you don't have to run this thing repetitively. And then, of course, if you don't want to hard code the variables, you can just use a simple input statement, and that will give you the option to type those in each time you run it. So what happens when it runs, you get a series of print statements. Now, you can modify the code to output to a text file, CSV, spreadsheet. I know spreadsheet's a little funky in Python, but just for kind of keeping this quick and easy, I just put print statements in there. So what it'll return is your service name, the source MXD that was used to publish it. That can be helpful if you have to go back and make changes, and the connection string to the data source. So this connection string would be my connection to this particular water meters feature class in our SDE database. I use pipe delimited structure because it's kind of easier to parse out in Excel. Most folder structures don't use pipes in part of the naming convention, or most people don't use them. It's sort of a less common character type. So you could change that from pipe delimited to comma or whatever. If you were doing CSV, of course, you'd use comma. So let's just take a quick look at that script. And that's the other one.
Right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so here is the script. So this would be your username, password. I've commented out because I have a masking thing here. So if I do get to do the hands-on bit, I can show you this without compromising my security. And then the token string. And then the search string, this is .water distribution. Water distribution is just the name of one of our feature data sets. So again, just to stress, the server is the full computer name, and that's going to be this guy. So nothing really crazy with the code, not a whole heck of a lot of lines of code. I've got a method here called parse services, which just some branching and conditionals that will ultimately return the service name, data source, and the file path. So you have to run this or make two calls to this method, one to get the root and then one to get all the subsequent folders. If you wanted to modify this to include more than one, say, feature data set or feature class, you could do search string 2, search string 3, etc. Modify your parameters up here. And then also down here, you could say or. So in Python, it's or, not double pipe like JavaScript. And then basically just say or search name 2 in layer data source, etc. Search name 3 and so on and so forth. And then after you did that, you would of course want to modify your arguments in your method calls here and here. So just to kind of keep this brief, I think we've got a couple minutes left here. The other option is to return the web maps by layer. So if you get your layers from the first script, and there is a way you could combine these two into one. I just didn't do it. It was, again, just a kind of a quick off the cuff sort of thing. So you've got your list of layers, but okay, what maps do these serve? Ultimately, you might have to modify these maps. So this second script can help with that. There's a couple good articles here. One on using the ArcGIS Python API, and then the ArcGIS.js module. Both of these are pretty helpful. This one especially is really cool. There's a lot of good details on here. This is kind of where I found most of the stuff I needed to do on the server side of things. So again, a couple variables at the top of the script that we'll need to modify: username and password. This will be for server administrator. Site would be the website for your ArcGIS Online or portal homepage. So that's going to be your protocol, which should be HTTPS, then the domain, then the web adapter name /home for portal. And then there's a service list, which is Python calls a list an array. If you're coming from other programming languages, this is a one-dimensional array, like anything too complex, but you would then populate this services variable with the names of your services, and then the output, or I'm sorry, not the output, but the array could look like this. So I'd be looking for water mains, water meters, water fittings in this array, or if I just wanted to search for one, you could just say, show me water mains. I did an array for the purpose that you could throw more items into it. Again, print statements, feel free to modify this to output to a CSV or a text file. Print statements in a Python shell, kind of just quick and easy, right? So what you'll get is the item title, type, and then the owner, which is pretty good information. The title is going to be the main thing. The owner is helpful in that if you need to change the ownership to yourself so that you can go in and modify the map, that may be helpful. Give the person a heads up. And then if you just want to return the title, you would just call print item title. So we can look at it. We got 1 minute here. We can look at that. So that is this script. Not a whole heck of a lot of code here. Basically, we are creating an empty array or list, as Python calls it, called item list, appending items into that list, and then running a for loop to say, okay, let's go through and parse the array and run everything out to console. So that's pretty much it. I'll share the GitHub repository so people can copy that code down and hopefully, like I said, use it, make it their own. And I think that's all the time we have.
Thank you, Zach. We did have in the chat, Josh Murphy had asked a couple questions about, do you know a way to get a REST URL in addition, and then also provided a sample of code to loop through your folder of published MXDs and write it to a CSV. So, and Jennifer did share that GitHub link as well, so people were able to get to that earlier. I appreciate you doing this. This is something that I know that I really needed at my previous position, because people had just been randomly publishing services left and right with no regard to a lot of the things that we have to think about in terms of publishing services. So this is really, really helpful. Josh, did you have any additional questions or comments that you wanted to make before we moved on?
No, it was just uncanny. I was literally writing this up for a request from our director yesterday, and I just want to know, what are all the features within these MXDs? What are their properties? And those of us that have been in the game long enough know that if you're trying to do this manually, that's days worth of work for a larger institution. So I've been able to get almost everything that I need in a nice CSV, the features that are included, what their path is, but trying to use ArcPy and the REST API. I used to be able to do it back at 10.1 to make calls with, I think it was there was a particular Arc Reader module that's kind of been deprecated, but I can't get my hands on the REST URL itself. And it's the only other component that I need to kind of paint the full picture in an automated fashion. So I didn't know if Mr. King had any recommendations there.
I've really never needed to do that. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's somewhere in the JSON maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
No, fair enough. I just figured if you were already well down this road that you might have some advice, but this is great stuff. Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, thank you, Zach. I can see why Jennifer comes and asks you questions, because you have done a disservice to yourself, sir, in introducing yourself to all of us, because now we will be doing the same.